Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be coming at you with a step-by-step guide on how to use new blocks in your builds really well, and so you won't ever get lost when trying to build something new. So before you start, you're going to want to look in the creative inventory and pick out which block you want to try using. I'd like to use basalt, but the thing is with basalt, the blocks that I'm going to texture in with this really nicely are coming in the next update, so I might do that then. But for now, I think I want to use strip jungle log. I've been seeing that in a lot of cool cool builds lately, and I think it would be really nice to use it because it has some green undertones, but it's also quite warm, and it's just a block that I've never really used. I mean, I've tried to use it, hasn't gone well. So once you've picked your block, we can move on to the actual process. So, first of all, you want to brainstorm some blocks to texture in with it. This is really important because if you just have like a granite wall with nothing else, it's going to look really boring and you're going to get really bored of that same texture all the time. So you're going to need to find something to texture in with it. Whether that's polished granite or bricks. Bricks aren't exactly the same color, but they work in well. This works better when there's like bigger patches of bricks, I think, and from a further distance. But it still goes in pretty well. And that's just much more interesting to look at, especially like on a larger scale. If you have like a massive granite wall compared to a massive textured granite wall, you're going to want to look at the textured one. So brainstorm some blocks to texture in with it. I'm going to do that, and I'll come back to you once I'm done. So, I brainstormed some texturing ideas and also some blocks to just go with the jungle wood. Like, you wouldn't necessarily texture it in, but you'd add it to the place where you're using it, maybe as like a border or something that it just goes. So I've got the jungle logs, and then I've got the jungle planks. So a good place to start with woods are the planks or the log version, depending on which one you originally wanted to use. And with stones, it's like different variations of that stone. So if you're doing black stone bricks, then you might want to start with just normal black stone or polished black stone, something like that. And then have a look in the creative inventory. Like, I know it'll seem really weird just to go scrolling, but you'll find some really cool items. Like, I found the mushroom block, the brown one, and that actually goes surprisingly well. I really like it. Actually, light grey terracotta might also go, but it might be a bit, yeah, that's a bit grey. So, maybe not. And then I found note blocks and jukeboxes, which are like a similar color, like here. They're a bit darker. And they have borders, but I think that'd be really nice for like the bottom of like a wall or something. It's just kind of nice to have some sort of skirting, and it looks very like art deco, like arty, like 1930s arty. It looks nice. But yeah, the reason this is so important is so that you can make people just go wow with the transitions. Like, these two, you would never think of them going together, but you might, but like, that's, beehives is such an odd block to just go, oh yeah, that'll go great with gold. Like, it's such an odd block. And you probably wouldn't think about using it in building, but there you go, it's really nice. Ignore the function of the block. So once you've got this and you've got some blocks to texture in with the block, you've got some sort of a color palette. So here ours is jungle planks, strip jungle logs, brown mushroom blocks, and a note block. That was not what I meant to do. That's a pretty decent color palette. Then you need to brainstorm blocks to complement this color set. So I've done that already because I mixed up my steps. But that's over here. So we've got the jungle, it's a fairly warm block. So something else that's warm is bricks. You could also probably use granite and you'd texture in the granite with the bricks. Generally with this, it's easiest to find blocks that you already know how to use and like using, because then it just makes the whole process easier and you're only trying to implement 1 or 2 different types of new blocks rather than having a whole building with entirely new blocks. It doesn't go well, because then you have like many things that you go, I want to change that, and it's just a mess. So sandstone I don't use so much, but that also goes. It's not a warm block, but it's not like a particularly cool block, and it also goes with bricks. So that could be cool to use like as a highlight tone because it's a lot lighter than the jungle wood. And then I've got the dark green. This is the clay and that is the wool. That's the texture block. That's the block that I'd use most of the time. And that goes with all of these blocks. Now, it may take a while to brainstorm, but use color theory if you happen to know that. I could not be bothered listening to the lesson on it. But these blocks go well together because they're close on the color palette, but they're not the same. And these colors go well together because they're like fairly different on the color palette. And this goes well because it's almost opposite, but there's also hints of this in that. And these two work well because they're fairly opposite. So then you need to brainstorm where to use this particular new block. Like here I made it so it's like the windowsill in a building, but you might want to use it in your roof. You might want to have a really nice roof. I don't know. Just think of what you want to do with this block and where would this block be best suited. I would say it's probably best suited in here or in like a like the structure of like a tiki hut or something, because it's a wood. But then again, ignore the function and focus on the color and the texture. So I'd personally use this here, and I'd have like this as a I've been forgetting the name of these for the past thing, but like, you know, the thing that just sort of blocks out the sun? Yeah, those things. And then I'd use this for like the main building, and then the sandstone I think I'd use for like highlights, maybe the floor, maybe some really nice pillaring on the bottom. No, I'd use the bricks for that. But like, I don't know, I'd use this for something. Maybe if you had like some highlights like this in the building, like that could be nice. But it depends on what you think is the best suit for the block. And like, if you're not sure, just try it out in a bunch of different locations in your build, and I'm sure you'll find one that you like. And if you don't, well then you don't ever have to use that material again. But also it really helps to look up inspiration and just see where other people have used it and how they've used it. And then your last step is to try it out. Build something with that block. Do it multiple times. Make it fit in. Make it a part of your normal builds, so you can really grow to either like it or dislike it, or just know how it can work within the building setting. And there you go. You've created a building or multiple buildings with a new block. Be proud of yourself. I hope this helped. If it did, let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye!